welcome to yet another interesting maths video. Stay tuned with us till the end of this video. Today we are going to study how to find square root by using the long division method. So first we will obtain the number whose square root is to be computed. Now the next step is to place bars over every pair of digits starting with the units digit. Also you have to place a bar on one digit, not forming a pair on the extreme left. So each pair and the remaining one digit on the extreme left is called a period. Now the third step is think of the largest number whose square is less than or equal to the first period. Take this number as the divisor and the quotient. The fourth step is to put the quotient above the period and write the product of the divisor and the quotient just below the first period. The fifth step is to subtract the product of the divisor and the quotient from the first period and bring down the next period to the right of the remainder. This becomes the new dividend. Step number 6 is double the quotient as it appears and enter it with a blank on the right for the next digit as the next possible divisor. Step number 7 is think of a digit to fill the blank in step 6 in such a way that the product of the new divisor and this digit is equal to or just less than the new dividend obtained in step 5. Now step number 8 is to subtract the product of the digit chosen in step 7 and the new divisor from the dividend obtained in step 5 and bring down the next period to the right of the remainder. This becomes a new dividend. Now you have to repeat step number 6, 7, 8 till all the periods have been taken up. And now obtain the quotient as the square root of the given number. Let's now look at our first problem. We have to find the square root of 12,544. So as we saw in our steps, we will put a bar on the starting from the units digit. So we'll put a bar on 44, we will put a bar on 25, and we will put a bar on 1. So now our first period is 1. We have to look for a number whose square will be less than or equal to 1. So that will be 1. 1 square is 1. So we will put 1 as the divisor and we will put 1 as the quotient also. So now we will multiply the divisor by the quotient, that is 1 into 1, we will get 1. We will put that below the first period, that is 1, and we will subtract 1 from 1 to give us 0. At the same time, we will double our divisor, that is 1 plus 1, and you will get 2. Now we have to bring down our next period, that is 25, and we will look for a number beside 2, which on multiplying by itself, that is when you multiply, now you have 21. When you multiply 21 by 1, you get 21, and that will be less than 25. So it is very close to 25 also. So you will put 1 as your quotient because since you have placed 1 next to 2. So now you will subtract 21 from 25 and you will get 4. And now you will add 1 to 21 as we have put 1 as the quotient. So now you will get 22. And we'll bring down our next period. We already have the remainder as 4. Bringing down the next period, 44, we get 444. Now we will repeat the same step. That is, you will look for a number next to 22, which will give you which will give a number close to 404, less than or equal to 444. So 222 multiplied by 2 will give you 444. So we will, since we have placed the number 2 next to 22, we will put that as the quotient and we will multiply 222 by 2, which will give you 444. And now we will subtract 444 from 444, giving you 0. So the square root of 12,544 will be 112. Let's look at our next problem. We have to find the square root of 2,86,225. So we put a bar from the units digit. So we put a bar on 25, on 62 and 28. Now we have three periods, that is 28, 62 and 25. Now we have to find a number which when multiplied by itself gives a number less than or equal to 28. So when you multiply 5 by itself, you get 25. So you will put 5 as a divisor and 5 as a quotient. Now you will multiply the divisor and the quotient, that is 5 by 5, you will get 25. So now you will subtract 28 from 25, which will give you 3. Now you will double 5 to get 10. Now we will bring down the next period, that is 62. Now you will place a number next to 10, which will give you a number close to 362, which when multiplied by that same number. So now we have 103 multiplied by 3, which will give you 309, which is close to 362. So we will put 3 as the quotient and we will multiply 103 by 3, and which will give us 309, and subtract it from 362, which will so when you subtract, you will get 53. Now we'll bring down our next period, that is 25, and you will add 103 to 3, which will give you 106. Now you will place a number next to 106, which on multiplying by itself will give you a number less than or equal to 5,325. So when you put 5 there and you multiply 1065 by 5, you get 5,325. So 5 becomes your quotient, and you will get 5,325, and you will subtract 5,325, which will give you 0. So now the square root of 2,86,225 will be 5,535. Let's look at our last problem. We have to find the square root of 64075 So we have to put bars on pairs of numbers starting from the units digit. So we will put bars on 09, 22, 52, 07 and 64. Now let's take the first period, that is 64. Now we will look for a number such that which when multiplied by itself will give you a number less than or equal to 64. So when 8 is multiplied by 8, you will get 64. So we will put 8 as a divisor and 8 as a quotient. And now we will multiply 8 by 8 to give 64, and 64 will be subtracted from 64. Now we will add double 8 in the divisor, which will give you 16. We'll bring down the next period, which is 07. Now we have to take a number next to 16, which on multiplying itself by the units digit will give you a number close to 07. But that's not possible, as 16 itself is greater than 7. So we'll put 0 there and make it 160. And we'll put a 0 in the quotient. Now we will add 160 to 0, which will give you 160. And we'll bring down the next period, which is 52. So you get 752. Now you will put a number close to 160, which will give you a number less than or equal to 752. But that is also not possible. So we'll put another 0, making it 1600. And we'll put another 0 in the quotient. So 1600 plus 0 will give you 1600. And now we will bring down the next period, that is 22, which will make it 75,222. Now you will add 1600 to 0, which will give you 1600. Now you have to put a number next to 1600, which will give you a number close to 75,222. So 16,004 multiplied by 4 will give you 64,016. So therefore, that makes it 16,004 in the divisor, and we'll put a 4 in the quotient. Now 16,004 has to be multiplied by 4, which will give you 64,016. So that will be subtracted from 75,222. So that will give you 11,206. Now 16,004 will be added to 4, which will give you 16,008. Now we will bring down the last period, that is 09, and we have to put a number next to 16,008, which on multiplying the units digit by itself will give you a number less than or equal to 11,20,609. So we will check what digit is to be put next to 16,008. So when we put 7 next to 16,008, so you get 1,60,087 multiplied by 7, which will give you 11,20,609. So we'll put 7 in the quotient, and we will subtract 11,20,609. and get the remainder as 0. Therefore, our square root is 80,047.